All meat eaters kill to consume. Period. Most people do their killing in the meat aisle of the grocery store, and some people do it in the forest. In this video, I'm going to explain why I think the latter actually fosters more care for animals and delivers a better tasting food product.
Hello, and welcome to the Lamb Provides, where the food from plants and animals keeps us satisfied. We can grow it, find it, or catch it for dinner. Come and learn how to get it from a pro to beginner.
About 5 years ago, I got pretty serious about trying to supplement my store-bought meat with game meat. I'd already been curbing my meat consumption since my early 20s due to studying environmental science at university, but then the movie Okja came out and honestly hit me in a way that no university class ever could. Data-driven papers about mechanized industrial livestock operations were scary, but the visuals and story of Okja was even scarier. Visuals hold an immense influence over me. It's a form of language and communication that I grapple with the best. After Okja, I knew that if I wanted to eat meat, that it was going to be on my own terms. Getting the meat was one thing, but cooking it turned out to be a whole other thing. Some of those early game meat meals were so bad that I think a raccoon would turn them down without hesitation. Those experiences encouraged me to develop my skill set real quick, and I immediately started reading and watching as much material on the subject matter as I could. How to butcher my own cuts of meat, how to grind it into something that I could use as burger, or how to dry it into something that I could use as jerky.
Ton of jerky here.
All of these things fascinated me, and I just became obsessed with the idea of processing my own food. I made steaks, schnitzels, roasts, and bone broths. Gradually, I actually got pretty decent at it too. The little meat that I managed to harvest each year was super valuable, so I found myself reserving it for the more intricate and elaborate meals and saving it for the presence of company. I was connecting with my food on a new level. Food security is without a doubt the main reason that I hunt, but I'd be lying if I didn't admit that superior taste takes a close second. The difference between cooking with farm-raised beef and wild game is night and day. Most cows eat only a few different types of crops throughout their entire lives. Probably wheat, barley, corn, or oats, things we also eat in our diets. Wild game, on the other hand, consumes a wide variety of plants and fruit throughout the year, resulting in a unique flavor profile in their meat. Game animals are also in better physical condition than their enclosed livestock counterparts. With nowhere substantial to run and no predators to chase them, farm animals spend far more time eating than they do moving. Wild animals, on the other hand, develop stronger muscles and tend to have firmer meat due to constantly moving around, which means they also have less fat. If cooked or handled incorrectly, I've heard people use the words tough and gamey to describe venison. but when put in the right hands, venison can rival the best of the best. What I've come to appreciate about it are its earthy and sweet tones. I liken a venison steak to a beef steak that's been infused with subtle hints of pine, mushroom, and berries. Needless to say, there's a very good reason why dishes like elk, venison, and duck are served at Michelin star restaurants.
Epicure. A person who takes particular pleasure in fine food and drink.
Hunting and eating deer is hardwired into our DNA. Venison has been a staple food for humans for tens of thousands of years. When we pursue wild game, we're in pursuit of a deep ancestral tradition. We're biting back in time, firing up long-lost neural pathways, reminding ourselves of something familiar. Before the industrial oven, there was the masonry oven, like this stone oven here. It's fairly simple in design, basically just a large stone fireplace with a grill platform for cooking food on. Where it differs from a traditional oven is that instead of being fueled by gas or electricity, it's fueled by the piping hot coals of whatever wood I choose to stock it with. The heat is retained by large rocks and concrete, which allow it to maintain a consistent cooking temperature over several hours while the food is just slowly sizzling away. It's the evolution of the earth oven, otherwise known as the pit cook. Various cultures from all around the world have utilized this ancient cooking method, and some of them still utilize it today for special events and ceremonies. Today, I'm celebrating and honoring the life of my late dad by cooking his favorite meal, spaghetti. Culinary tradition is important to me. My parents are French-Canadian, so I grew up eating a lot of authentic meals like tortillas and crepes. When my dad was making spaghetti, the whole house would know because an aroma would float throughout, like basically beckoning us down into the kitchen where we'd all congregate and listen to music and hang out and share laughs and share food. Cooking wasn't just about the product, it was about the process. It has intrinsic value, meaning it's not just a means to an end, but an end in and of itself. My dad made pretty decent money as an accountant growing up and could have chosen to outsource food production in our household, but he wanted to cook because he was connected to it.
Sure, we cook for sustenance, but I argue that we also cook for connection. When we cook for others, we're saying that we care for them. We're communicating that they're worthy of our time and effort, and that they deserve to be treated once in a while. My dad's spaghetti is a process. Normally it's a 2-day event where you cook everything up on day 1, let it simmer overnight, and then package it up for the freezer on the following day. In my case, this particular batch of spaghetti took 4 days to prepare, and that's if you don't count all the time it took to grow the veggies and hunt the black-tailed deer. Some of the veggies are store-bought, of course, but the base sauce is entirely from the garden. Bringing self-procured ingredients into the foods I grew up eating enhances the experience in a big way. No knock on my old man, but his recipe called for a lot of canned and frozen veggies from the store, which, quite frankly, pale in comparison to the stuff that I've harvested from the garden. I wholeheartedly believe that both garden veg and game meat taste better than their mass-produced and sold counterparts. But I also think that they feel better too. There's a feeling of satisfaction knowing that you put work into something. This meal has plenty of blood, sweat, and tears. It didn't just arrive at my door with the push of a few buttons. I suffered for it, and I'm now more resilient because of it. Each time I grow a vegetable, hunt a deer, or cook a meal, I'm making it easier on myself the next time. But again, this meal isn't just for me. It's for showing the people in my life just how much I care for them by using a love language that I'm fluent in: food.
In writing this script, I came to a personal insight, that I don't cook elaborate meals for myself. This is something that I'm sure a lot of people can relate to, but I've never really taken a deep look at my motivations behind the mindset. In reserving elaborate meals only for the presence of company, I'm creating tradition. I'm fostering the idea that certain meals mean something to me, that they're sacred.
Venerate. To regard with reverence or great respect.
To many, cooking for others is a form of ceremony. A communal giving with no expectations of reciprocity. Just like a pit cook meal is meant to be shared, meals from this stone oven are also meant to be shared. When this spaghetti and meatball meal is done, after hours of slowly sizzling away above the cherry red embers of Douglas fir and cedar wood, I'll bring it upstairs for the presence of company. Before hunting and gardening, I had a much simpler relationship with my food. If I wanted to eat something, I ate it. Simple as that. What animal it was, where it came from, and how it got there were things that rarely entered my mind. My interaction with food was purely based on two things: price and taste. It was a commodity. If I spent X amount of dollars, I expected X amount of mouth pleasure. Food shouldn't just be about economics, though. It should be about connection. Connection to the natural world, connection to human history, and connection to the people around us, both past and present. And today, cooking Dad's spaghetti, I'm connecting with him.